Recognition of impairment losses in financial statement. So what we want to understand here is, according to IAS 36, how are we going to deal with this impairment loss? See, there are two sides of now we need to think about the double edge, right? We need to have a debit and a credit. Debit will be, we will be recognizing impairment loss, right? Impairment loss will have to go to profit and loss account as expenses. That's the debit. Whereas credit to the respective cash generating unit or assets. Now, this is what we need to understand very well. So you can say that any impairment losses resulted due to impairment review should be recognized such losses immediately. Right. Now, first point is that we have to recognize the expense. You can say that the recognition of impairment loss should be recognized or should be treated as an expense. In the statement of profit and loss account. Provided, here one condition you need to remember, this impairment loss that we are recognizing to our profit and loss account when we are conducting the first time impairment. If the impairment, now I would like to recall here slightly IAS 16. In IAS 16, there is a point that we discussed about revaluation. There we talked about when you have a revaluation at the first time, such revaluation surplus we should be presenting in the other comprehensive income and the statement of changes in equity as a separate column for revaluation surplus. Then we go on subsequent period. On the subsequent period, if we have a revaluation surplus, if we have conducted the revaluation and the result is a surplus, no problem, do the same treatment. What you do is, you recognize as other comprehensive income and in the statement of changes in equity as that particular amount of the revaluation surplus. But conversely, if the first time revaluation resulting a deficit within bracket similar to impairment, in property, plant and equipment, it is you could also call it revaluation deficit, whereas it is a tangible non-current asset. But impairment is common for tangible asset as well as intangible assets, including goodwill. So, under IAS 16, when you are conducting a revaluation and that is resulting a deficit, what is the treatment? We have to take it to profit and loss account as an expense. We write it down. Well and good. Subsequently, what is going to happen? Next time we do a revaluation, and in the subsequent revaluation, you got to see what was the result of the previous scenario. If the previous scenario was a revaluation surplus and the subsequent scenario is a revaluation deficit, then you got to ask the question: what is the extent of the previous surplus? To give it numbers, previous surplus 100, subsequent deficit is 150. The treatment should be up to the extent of the previous surplus of 100. Such loss should be debited to other comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity. The difference, additional loss of 50, we have to treat it as an expense as well as into the profit and loss account. On the other hand, when we have a second now first time deficit, let's assume first time deficit is 100, subsequent time, if the subsequent time also a deficit, no problem, continue the same treatment, charge to profit and loss account as an expense. Whereas first time deficit, subsequent time is a revaluation surplus, then you have to ask the question to the extent of the previous deficit. Again, let's give this number example. Previous deficit 100, now the surplus is 150. What you going to do? Up to the extent of the previous deficit, you have to credit this benefit to the profit and loss account as a normal income and expense item. Additional 50 gain should be considered as another comprehensive income item according to IAS 1 and IAS 16. So, that 50 you will show it as other comprehensive income, and then the same item will come to statement of changes in equity under a dedicated column for revaluation surplus. Now, we will synchronize or simulate this to IAS 36. What's going to happen when we have this impairment? If the impairment test is the first time and that impairment is, then there is a loss, we state the forward write-off to profit and loss account as an expense, no problem. But if this impairment is a subsequent situation where this asset has been revalued on the first time, now can you relate this to IAS 16 now? Let's assume previously there was a revaluation surplus, now there is an impairment loss. What the treatment? To the extent of the previous surplus, you will debit to other comprehensive income, and any remaining you will debit to profit and loss account. So that's what you need to say. So you can say that what we have said there.
So recognition of impairment should be treated as an expense in the statement of profit and loss account,
Provided such impairment is on the first time. First time, and all impairment losses should be taken to statement of profit and loss account as an expense. On the other hand, when an asset is impaired which has been previously revalued, an asset is being impaired which has been previously revalued and resulted a revaluation surplus, then other prevailing IFRS rules, should be applicable. Other prevailing IFRS rules should be applicable. Within bracket you can say IAS 205. Then IAS what? What is standard we talk about revaluation? I am unable to use local language here. IAS 16. So within bracket IAS 16. Accordingly, any such impairment losses should be debited to other comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity to the extent of previous surplus, any remaining deficit should be debited to statement of profit and loss account as an expense.